Hey guys, Level Cap here, and today I wanted to make a list of, realistically, what Battlefield map remakes will be in Battlefield 2042. With yesterday's confirmation that 2042 will feature many classic maps in their unannounced or redacted game mode, it also put a lot more credibility behind Battlefield leaker Tom Henderson's recent info. About 2 weeks ago, Tom alleged that the unannounced game mode for Battlefield 2042 would be a tribute mode of sorts, bringing classic maps and weapons for players to romp around in their favorite maps from past Battlefield titles. And since at least some of this leak is now confirmed by DICE, and also the fact that Tom's previous info regarding the theme and details of Battlefield 2042 were mostly accurate, I am going to make the assumption that the rest of this info is also accurate. And with that in mind, Tom also tweeted out that Metro, Lockers, Wake Island, Siege of Shanghai, Arica Harbor, and Caspian Border will all be in this new Battle Hub quote-unquote game mode. Now, I'm also going to make the assumption that these maps will be limited to 64 players. The idea of scaling up classic maps to flow with 128 players sounds like it would just disrupt the flow and original design of the maps to an extent in which the nostalgia feeling would be lost. It would also be a massive amount of dev work to scale the maps up, whereas re-importing classic maps and giving them a facelift is much more attainable. Something else of note with Tom's list of maps coming to this mode is that they are all originally or have at least been redesigned for modern military battlefield games. It's very possible that they won't be mixing in World War I and World War II maps and weapons to this hub mode, or that perhaps DICE is saving those historical throwbacks for perhaps future DLC to see first if players just enjoy Battle Hub in the first place. So if I'm gonna make the assumption that at least we're only seeing modern military maps for this hub mode, here are the 10 maps that I think DICE should consider beyond the previously mentioned Metro, Lockers, Wake Island, Siege of Shanghai, Arica Harbor, and Caspian Border. So starting off, it's probably no surprise that Strike at Karkand is top of my list, as this map really was one of the most popular in Battlefield 2, enough to warrant a remake for Battlefield 3. The map offers a great conquest assault style of gameplay with tons of destruction, inter-city fighting, crafty vehicle usage, and brutal choke points. It played really well in Battlefield 3, and I'd love to see what a light remake could do for the gameplay in Battlefield 2042. Second on the list, Damavand Peak is another icon of Battlefield 3, featuring that insane base jump sequence. It surprisingly never got remade for Battlefield 4, and fans have been clamoring for it ever since. My only concern is that DICE might feel that they're already scratching that base jumping itch with their new breakaway map. That being said, they are allegedly adding both Lockers and Metro, which seem to be filling a similar niche, so why not just throw Damavand Peak in there as well? I don't think anybody would complain about having two base jumping maps in the game. Next up is Gulf of Oman, and while this map might lack size compared to the new Hourglass Desert map, it still represents an important stepping stone of Battlefield's classic experience. This map first debuted as the original map you could play in the Battlefield 2 demo. This was before games traditionally had alpha and beta tests for the public, and instead companies would launch a demo of their game for the public to test out. I probably put 300 hours into the Battlefield 2 demo, and Gulf of Oman was fun the whole way through, offering a beach landing sequence, tall skyscrapers to snipe from, a full complement of tanks, helicopters, and jets. Gulf of Oman was a true map to showcase your game with. Also, it's been remastered multiple times now, so why not just keep up the trend? It seems like a no-brainer for Battle Hub. Now, because Arica Harbor is mentioned by Tom's tweet, why not take a look at one of Bad Company 2's other great maps, Laguna Presa. This map in rush mode offered an awesome beach landing sequence and harrowing APC push through the jungle and hostile villages. It was a fantastic map that offered some great jungle fighting and somehow managed to keep things strategic the whole way through. Now, of course, it's hard to mention classic Bad Company 2 maps without at least name-dropping Valparaiso, because it is one of the most popular, but every time I sort of went back to try out one of the fan-favorite maps, it just didn't flow that well. It's definitely a map that I think most remember with their nostalgia goggles on. So, in case anyone was wondering why I didn't include that map on the list, well, it's because I just don't think it aged that well. Next on the list is Zavod 311. This map was just good, solid Battlefield 4 action. Helicopter pilots could try out their low-level flying skills in a small map with tons of infantry and an AA tank waiting to blow you out of the sky. Infantry forest fighting, a tank graveyard, and a collapsing warehouse just made this a great map that featured fantastic gameplay all the way through. And also, if DICE is gonna put a big 311 on the helicopters in the 2042 trailer, I think we better see a Zavod 311 remaster. Operation Firestorm is next on the list. This map first brought the Desert Storm vibes hard with Battlefield 3 in a harsh, unforgiving desert environment dominated by vehicles. It of course was remade for Battlefield 4 as well. Infantry could hold out in the central buildings to maintain map control. Fast vehicles were needed to get across the desert before numerous jets and helicopters could take you out. It was not easy being a pilot, tanker, or infantry on this map, and that's part of what made it so fun. Next up is Baazar, one of the best tactical Battlefield maps of all time, the Dust 2 of Battlefield 3, if you will. It was one of the few Battlefield maps designed with closed lanes in mind, and it worked really well. It was technically remastered for Battlefield Hardline as well, but it really does deserve a place in Battlefield 2042. It proved just how well Battlefield can play on a lane-driven map layout. And although I think Battlefield's esports dreams are long gone at this point, Baazar would have been the centerpiece of proving that reality. It definitely deserves a place in 2042. Now, speaking of maps that really deserve a remaster, Mashtuur City from Battlefield 2 was absolutely fantastic. It kind of rocked the Strike at Karkand vibe, but with a more balanced layout and a massive central canal dividing it down the center. Sniping and close-quarter infantry gameplay with limited vehicle usage made this a jack-of-all-trades map with great flow and combat. If you like being airlifted in a Black Hawk helicopter for a rooftop hot drop, then this is the map for that. Now, I'm fairly far down this list and haven't even mentioned Noshahr Canals yet. Part of that is because Battlefield 2042's Manifest map looks like a direct tribute to Noshahr Canals. But hey, if you're gonna make a classic map collection, it's gonna be hard to leave out Noshahr's brutal conquest assault and TDM. Shipping container CQB action, crane sniping, little bird helicopter tricks, and jet dogfighting, there was basically something for everyone on this map. And last on the list, but certainly not least, is Sharqi Peninsula. This map absolutely owned in Battlefield 2, and it owned even harder in Battlefield 3 after it got a complete remake. Tight-knit city fighting made it really hard to be a tanker on this map and gave infantry a massive advantage against all vehicles who dared venture into the city. I still really enjoyed the challenge of trying to pilot an attack helicopter on this map, and I hope I can play it once again in Battlefield 2042. Now that does wrap it up for my list of the top 10 maps beyond the 6 that Tom's tweet mentioned that I would like to see in the redacted/Battle Hub game mode. If DICE does expand this Classics game mode to their World War I and World War II theaters of war, then I could easily make a whole other list of those maps that I'd like to see, but in sticking with the modern theme, I think that these maps will create a true hub of nostalgia and great gameplay. And if DICE does this hub mode right, Battlefield 2042 could have legs well beyond a Battlefield game's traditional 2-year cycle, and I can't wait to see how things turn out in this regard. Let me know in the comments what maps you would want to see remastered in a Battle Hub game mode, and as always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. This is Level Cap, signing off.